Hey, what's up everyone? It's George here, the Remote Seller. In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about virtual assistants and VAs, something that's very important to any online arbitrage or wholesale business. But before I get into any of that, I want you guys to join my Telegram group. It's in the description below. If you join it, you'll have access to me and a bunch of other very experienced online arbitrage and wholesale sellers. So I get a lot of questions from sellers regarding hiring VAs. They want to know certain things like where they can actually find a VA, when the right time to get a VA is, what VAs actually do, how much you should be paying them, and then lastly, if you can actually trust them. Now, one very important thing to note is that hiring a VA is not going to make or break your business, okay? It's not going to save you. It's not the silver bullet. The business is up to you, okay? So you should know everything that you need to know about being an Amazon wholesale or online arbitrage seller. So we need to understand the following tasks perfectly. So firstly, finding suppliers, finding ASINs, whether that's through manual searching, scanning price lists, or keeper searching. Then analyzing ASINs and coming up with potential orders, signing up with a new supplier, inventory management, capital allocation, finding and using the right software, prepping or organizing the prepping of products, and then lastly, negotiating with our suppliers. So before hiring any VA, you should understand how to do these tasks perfectly. Out of all these tasks, I recommend you allocate the following to a VA. So when is the right time to actually hire a VA? In my opinion, I feel that you have to understand the Amazon business very well before you hire a VA, okay? You have to have made a few sales cycles. So a sales cycle meaning what? You've purchased products from a supplier, you've sent them into Amazon, they've made their money, you've made your profit, that profit came back to you, and you've repurchased. That's probably a sales cycle. Okay, you probably need to have made a few of those before you can get a VA. And ideally, I think you should be making at least 20K per month in revenue before you hire a VA. Now, small caveat to this: if you're very cashed up, for example, and you have a lot of capital and you want to get into the Amazon game, if you have a mentor, I do think it's okay to also get a VA in this case because your mentor can guide you, okay? But otherwise, I feel even if you are cashed up, if you don't have a mentor, you should probably understand the game. You should probably invest a small amount of money, really understand what you're doing, and then once you understand what you're doing very well, then maybe you can outsource a lot of the work to a VA and they can do the task according to what you feel is the right way your business needs these tasks to be done. Now, what can VAs actually do for you? Now, there are a bunch of things that they can do for you. One of them, of course, is finding suppliers, okay? Now, you want to make a list of a lot of suppliers, 1,000 or so. If you want to see a video on finding suppliers, check out this one here, okay? So now let's say you have a list of about 1,000 suppliers. What you should be getting a VA to do is maybe contact every day 20 of them and try to sign up accounts with them. Now, I don't recommend you contact more than 20, 100 or 200 suppliers in one single day. You can do it, of course, it's not that hard, but you'll get inundated with all their responses and it'll be very hard to track what's going on. Now, if you do maybe only 20 a day, for example, it's a lot easier to track what's going on. Also, get CRM, something like Streak, or if you want to pay for another one, but Streak is free, it's a good one. Get software like Streak to track what was said. Otherwise, you can just have an Excel spreadsheet as well. And so basically you can get your VA to contact suppliers and try to sign them up. Once you get a positive response from a supplier, have your VA contact you, CC you in an email, and then you can sign them up and you can give them all your documentation you need to actually officially sign up with them. Another thing that you can use your VA for is finding ASINs. Now, finding ASINs can be very strenuous sometimes. So our suppliers usually send us lists with thousands of UPCs, sometimes 5, 10, 50, even 100,000 different UPCs on the one list, okay? So finding the ASIN from those lists can be tiring sometimes. So you can use methods like scanning with software, manual searching, or keeper searching to narrow down and find those actual ASINs from those UPCs or from those products in general. But ideally, you want to understand how to do this process very well yourself, okay, before you teach a VA how to do it, so they can do it the way you want to do it. So after you find an ASIN, the next thing you should be doing is analyzing the ASIN, product analysis basically. Making sure if the ASIN that you're looking at is a good product to buy or not. Now, this part is very important. So one wrong decision could cost you a lot of money. Some right decisions could help you make a lot of money, not just for this month, but for many, many months to come. So this part is very important. Now, of course, you can entrust a VA to do this as well. Okay, so of course, again, you need to understand this part very well before you give these tasks to a VA. but they can do these for you. So you can give them a list of criteria that you wish. You can tell them how much profit you want a product to have, how much ROI it should have, how many sales per month it should be making, how many competitors, how much Amazon should be on the listing, or lack of Amazon in that case. Okay, all these things can be considered. Now, of course, shameless plug here, my product, Astro, my software, will be launching at some point soon. It'll be coming out, and it does a lot of these tasks. It automates a lot of these tasks and makes things a lot faster, so you should be able to consider that. I'll let you guys know when it's out. Now, another thing that you can use your VA for is to write up potential purchase orders, okay? You might, for example, have $20,000 or $50,000 to spend this month. You can go to your VA and say, hey, go through these 3 or 4 suppliers, find the best products I can buy, products that will sell within a month that are going to make me at least 30% ROI, for example, from these 4 suppliers, and I might go ahead and buy them. Now, of course, you're not going to buy these products blindly. You're going to go through these ASINs and make sure the products that they are recommended are good, and the amounts, the units, the quantity is good as well, because ideally you want all the products to sell off within about a month, maybe a month and a half. You want the products to sell off, and you want to make your profit. So they can potentially write up, potential purchase orders for you to look over and see what you're going to be buying or not. So there are many places where you can actually find VAs. So you can go to online jobs, you can go to Upwork, you can go to Fiverr, you can go to Virtual Coworker, all these places where you can find virtual assistants. Also, there are groups on Facebook, there are groups on social media, like Facebook, Discord, Telegram, with a lot of VAs. If you want a personal recommendation from me on where you can find trained VAs, join my Telegram group, and I'll let you guys know where I can direct you straight to some very good and well-trained VAs there. Next, I want to talk about paying these VAs. So this part can get a little bit tricky. So some important context first. So VAs usually come from countries where the USD, the pound, the euro are quite strong in their home countries. Okay, some very important context. So they will likely accept something that is considered less for the people that live in the US and the UK, for example, but that same amount of money has a lot of purchasing power in their home countries. It is a very high salary for them in their home countries. So it makes sense for both us to pay them in these currencies, and for them because those currencies have a lot of value in their home countries. So I don't want to go too deep on how much you should be paying them, because the simple fact is that some VAs do very complicated tasks while other VAs do very simple tasks, and it really depends. It really varies. Okay, so I'm not going to go too deep into the actual payment, the cost. It's something that you're going to have to just negotiate with them. Make sure you're paying something that you as a business owner can afford. And on their case, for the VAs, on the VA's part, it's something that it's actually worthwhile for them to allocate their time into working for you. So lastly, I want to talk about trust. Now, I noted a lot of things in this video that are very important. Well, trust is probably the most important in this whole aspect. Now, a VA is going to learn a lot of personal details about you and your business. Something that you personally want them to keep that to themselves. So let's say, for example, you're trying to hire a VA, and they come to you and they say, "Hey, I've got 50 suppliers from my previous, employer, another seller that I was working for. I'll give them to you. I want, X dollars a month, and blah blah blah, this and that." Okay, great. They're going to give you a list of 20 or 50 suppliers or 1,000 good suppliers. Great, but you understand that they're also screwing over another seller in this case, to try to court you. So in my opinion, that's a red flag. I'd rather not even have to work with them. I don't care if you're going to give me suppliers. I can find them on my own anyway, or I can hire someone to find them. I'd rather someone that's trustworthy, that I understand is going to do a good job for me, and they're going to be respectful. So you want someone that is not going to screw you over in the future. They're not screwing someone else over now, and they're going to screw over you in the future. So that's one thing. Now, ideally, you also want them to be exclusively working for you and no one else. Now, one caveat to that is that if you hire someone that's part-time, let's say you're selling in the US and you have a VA that's working for you, but they're also working part-time for Andrew, for example, who's a seller in the UK. I guess that's okay because they're not conflicting. You're in the US, the other seller's in the UK. Fair enough. They're doing work for both of these guys. It's not too conflicting. It's not ideal, but I guess it's acceptable. Now, lastly, in terms of trust, you also want to make sure that the work and the tasks that are being set out for them are being done. Now, there are some sellers that use tracking software to track every single thing that their employees are doing. Now, in my opinion, it's a bit too intrusive. I don't want to see every single thing that my employees are doing. Sometimes they might work at different hours and whatever. I just give them tasks and I want to see them done. If I might say I want this task done by the end of the week or by the end of the month, it depends on what type of size the task is. Basically, I just want to see it being done. If it's done, I'm happy. That's all that matters, in my opinion. Now, of course, you're asking for all these things off your VAs. You, as the business owner, also have to give something in return. It's a two-way street. Trust goes both ways. So, as a business owner, you have to be respectful to your VAs. Very important. And also, you need to allow for growth opportunities within your business for your VAs. Something where they can, earn more money, have more responsibilities, and play a more intricate role in your business and your business's success. It's something that would also make them happy and not just yourself. If they feel that they're growing and there's opportunity to grow, that's something that they'll be, very keen for, and anyone would be keen for in that matter. So in conclusion, having a good VA can really help push your business forward. It won't make or break your business. That's on you. But if you hire right and train them right, it could really help you and give you the time you need to do other tasks that are going to grow your business. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Don't forget to join my Telegram group. See ya.